right. Looks like we're gonna get fired up here. So this is week 20. So weekly meeting here for the 61 Main Street project. Things are continuing to progress out there, and I guess with that we'll have Ryan give us the schedule update here, and we're forecasting to the end here, so it's good. So if you don't mind, Ryan, if you would please.
I never do. 61 schedule. We got the tiebacks put in there from Plum back and from Bush back to the existing asphalt. So on the north side, everything's ready to be, the concrete, once it's cured out, it'll be ready to open up to everything. Really, we're starting to get a hold of some of the sidewalk on that side, on the north side of the road. They started pouring some of that colored sidewalk between Bush and Plum today. They'll continue to pour the sidewalk as they're available. It's still going to be we're sharing resources between the levee project and the Highway 61 project, so I've got both schedules in front of me, so I kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. But Doyle is working the center medias down on Levee Road and the sidewalks around the roundabout. They're also working some curb at the median barrier wall this week. I think that's really about all they got down there. And then up on 61, we're hoping to get into pouring out the Potter intersection. We'll look to make that traffic switch in the morning.
Tomorrow.
Right, tomorrow morning.
So tomorrow you'd open Plum Street up so you could go straight across that Plum Street, across the highway, and close Potter.
Correct. That will allow us to do the concrete in Potter, which is the last of the main drive-through lanes. Once that cures out and we've got enough on the sidewalks, then we would, of course, we've talked about it before, switch to the outside, traffic on the outside lanes and pour the center drive lane, which is looking like week 3 of our 3-week look-at schedule. Of course, that's if everything works well and the weather cooperates. We are still hoping to be done with 61 about 3 to 4 weeks at this point, and Levee Road is looking like it's a 4-week to the finish line on that job. So 4 more meetings.
It should be pretty good, yeah.
4 more TV appearances, and then I quit.
Just to be clear on that closure for tomorrow, to close Potter so you can do the concrete at Potter, and opening Plum, you're also planning to open Bush Street to just the right in, or does that have to go a little bit longer, Corey?
Yeah, I don't think
the curing's not quite there on that one yet.
Well, no, I think with that, and then I think the plan would be to keep Bush closed at least through the end of this weekend and next week, so we could get the ped ramps done there.
Okay.
And then we were going to open Bush to right in, right out for River City Days.
On the north side.
North side.
Before River City Days, you'll be able to come up and go past the St. James and turn right onto the highway. So
Yep.
We'll wait to do that next week.
I think that's our plan. So
Okay.
Plum would be full open tomorrow, and then that'll work conducive because the signal's still operational there. And then Potter will close on the north side, which will only really be affecting ADM. It's a good move. We're getting everything back to Plum where it wants to be.
Yeah.
And then Bush would be cured out tomorrow, but it's a lot nicer to get that corner work there. Bush has got to bump out there and be a little easier for the guys to get that finished up while it's closed.
To get the sidewalk in.
Get the sidewalk in, the ped ramps in, and we still have a crossing there. So people just have to use caution. Bush is a solid green, and it's working well to not have that intermediate intersection or that signal operational to let people queue through there. So we do have a ped crossing there. People are crossing there regardless, so just have to use caution that crossing traffic doesn't stop. But we'd like to keep Bush a solid green, so that limits the movements we can make available there. But understanding the busyness of River City Days, we thought that it'd be a nice outlet to be able to do right in, right out onto Bush.
On the north side of Bush there.
Be
by
the north
St.
side
James.
of Bush, yep. So that'd be northbound, right in, right out. And then we'd do that Thursday before River City Days. So that'd be available Friday. So you'd be looking at, next week, the 4th or 5th, whatever that looks like.
Wednesday or Thursday we talked about it. Maybe even do it Wednesday. 'Cause I think River City Days officially starts Thursday. Oh, it is Friday. Okay. Friday the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then, barring all the work and how we're sequencing, Potter's going to be the main focus now. Get that road put back together. But if Bush wasn't quite done, then we'd consider maybe closing it again that following Monday or whatever. But certainly for the River City Days weekend, it'd be open. And And then as Ryan, hit it, it's going to be a constant bouncing here. Potter Street sidewalks, Levy Road, so they're concrete work. You got to form and pour, so it kind of works nice to bounce around, so to speak. So I think there's always going to be some activity. It's just a matter of what it is, whether it's forming or pouring, and just be aware. There's a lot of pours. There's the pour along the building. There's the ped ramp pours in the corners, and then we obviously have the tree grade area here too, which will be a separate pour all itself. So a lot of things to come together here yet, but we got a few weeks to do so, and some good weather outlook. But that's really the update.
Streetlights are hopeful to be within this 3 to 4 week schedule, kind of we're looking, but that might be a little bit longer, Ryan. We kind of talked about that. It just depends on how quick the sidewalk gets down to where they can get in there and do that.
Yeah,
work.
yeah. As soon as we can get him behind the sidewalk guys, we would, and he could start putting those up right behind him if the whole sidewalk's in. But we don't want to put those up and still have a piece of sidewalk to pour.
Sure.
So we'll have to kind of play that one by ear. But I'm hoping that can overlap with some of the sidewalk construction. Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out is that on Levy Road project, we still have some work down at the Broad Levy intersection, that Levy Park parking lot as well. That's going to happen after River City Days. We're kind of pushing the pause button on that job for the festival.
Yep.
Is it usable? Will it be usable now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gravel.
It will be usable. Yeah, all the trails are the plan is to have all the trails paved, whether it's concrete or asphalt. Have all the surface coatings down on everything except for Levy Park parking lot.
Correct.
That
But usable as a gravel parking lot. Yep.
It'll be a gravel parking lot, but it will be usable. And then we'll just ramp the in and the out of that parking lot. So
Because the art fair is still planned in Levy Park, right?
Right.
So really, we want to have that usable. We want to have the turnaround right there, all solid surface. We're not pulling that out yet. We're going to kind of wait on doing that work until after River City Days. And then we have to fit that work in between riverboats coming in on a a Sunday to Tuesday kind of thing. So we're looking at the riverboat thing is really causing us some scheduling things on how we kind of finish the job off. I think we'll be in real good shape for River City Days, but we also have to think about the riverboats that are coming every weekend, this weekend all the way through River City Days and after River City Days, and still keep that intersection open there at Broad. But there will be a time we have to work on that, and we're going to hopefully do that kind of in between those boats to get that done. But the plan for River City Days is to have the street open itself, the trail open, and the parking lots all open, which would mean the large parking lot by their construction trailer, the parking lot by the boathouses is planned to have the final lift and striping possibly. So we've got that organized for parking, and then the Levy Park parking lot gravel. So we're trying to make sure we have all the accesses open and the parking lots. Access is on, of course, Withers, the access at Jackson, and the access at Broad.
And then also down on Levy Road, a couple of things that we're hoping we can have in place before River City Days. All the signs. Signage might not be all up. We might have to have some temporary signs out there. And then also the handrail. Some of the handrail, I guess there was an issue with the manufacturing, so some of it has to go back and get repainted. So we're hoping that we can get all that put up this week. What needs to be repaired can go back and come back still get installed yet this week. And if something doesn't work there, then we would put up some temporary pedestrian barricade up against that.
This is along the trail that butts by the boathouses. We just found out about this, that there was some painting and galvanizing issues on a few of the posts. Mm-hmm. So we have our inspector down there looking at those right now. But the intent is to get it all installed and be done with it, get the pieces fixed that need to be fixed and installed. But if we can't get that done, we need to do something. We'll get in what we can, and then maybe have to put in some temporary railing strapped in there, maybe kind of what we've been using up along Main. We want a barrier along that edge to the water drop off there. So for River City Days, and the signage, we're hoping to get some of that signage in. If not, we have ordered some temporary kind of cardboard coated signs that we'll put on lath to stay on the trail, kind of around the Red Wing Grain property. Want to make sure people know that's private property, stay on the trail kind of thing, since we're opening it up. And any stop signs and things like that we need to get in a temporary fashion. But we're hoping maybe some of that stuff can be put in next week prior to
Yeah.
River City Days. So
Definitely.
Ryan's going to check into that, and maybe even this week have some crews mobilize. Who's your sub for doing that work?
The signs is warning lights.
Warning lights, okay. So we're working through those logistics, but Corey did bring up the crossing I just want to reiterate the crossing at Bush Street for pedestrians. There were so many people using it anyway, even though 61 traffic has a green, which has been good for 61 traffic to be able to move from Broad to Plum without a stoplight in the middle there. Just be aware, and we've be aware that you're crossing that traffic and you've got to look both ways. You're not going to get a walk signal and people aren't stopping. But it's been working. People are letting pedestrians through. We also put signs up to yield to pedestrians for the traffic there. So we just saw so many people doing it anyway that to get to the St. James corner to the Ufta corner that we thought let's try to provide for it and add signage in there. So. Ryan, was the Potter Street concrete work you're kind of thinking the rest of this week then and have that put in place?
Yeah, that's the intent. Get it. We're going to make the traffic switch in the morning, clean it up probably by about noon. Hopefully they can form it up and pour it. Maybe it's looking probably going to be 2 pours. So maybe tomorrow afternoon, probably Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
Would be the pours on that. I'm kind of anticipating a little bit of precipitation tomorrow.
And with those pours, that will be the completion of the mainline concrete paving.
The main through paving, yes, sir.
Yep. And there will be some bituminous or blacktop tie-ins that will have to happen at a few locations.
Well, most of those got done.
Most of them are done, but we'll probably have that mainline one off the end of this
Mainline
Potter
one, yep.
pour.
The mainline one still has to happen after the pour, but
Okay.
the tiebacks were all done.
The Plum Street tieback is done?
Yep.
With the blacktop?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and then the last thing I guess we talked about today is we are going to hold off. You're going to see some holes out there where the trees go. This is just not a good time to put trees in. That's going to be a separate mobilization looking mid-September.
Yeah, weather
See what the weather dependent, but
Right. What the weather does, what the weather dictates we do there.
So I think it'd just be a tree guy with the barrel over it, like it's been. So it'd just
Yeah.
be the same way, both north and south sides.
the tree gates will just be sitting there and we have a barrel over the hole there.
Yep. So
And the decorative railing and pillar down at, you like to call it obelisk?
The obelisk, right?
Down at Potter, that's done?
The obelisk is done. I don't believe that the fencing is done to it. It's going to get done probably today. Those crews are in town working down the Levee Road, putting up the gate at Red Wing Grain.
Okay.
And putting up the fence over at the boat guy's place. But the obelisk, yes, it did get done. Those beautiful obelisks out there all over.
You probably saw it down there on the corner across the street.
We
from
should
Red
probably go
Wing
take
Plant
a
1.
picture with it.
Yeah.
On Potter?
On Potter, yep. Kind of, there's a Barron's has a parking lot, and this is going to be kind of a corner post and then some railing just to kind of shield that parking lot and create like an entry look right there as you're coming into town. So the parking's not right up to the sidewalk.
They tried to call it a masonry pillar in my drawings, but it's truly an obelisk.
Yeah, and it's going to look similar to what. Yeah, we did a lot of that down at Old West Main entry, and it's that same look. So yep. So trying to create that entry point over on that end of the job as well. Not quite as intensive. We don't have the shrubs and things like that down there, but we do have trees and lighting and so forth going down to that intersection. So.
And then just maybe one final comment with all the talk about traffic control. Just to reiterate, we will be in the same configuration we are through River City Days. So we are not anticipating to have any traffic switches beyond the
Plum and Potter
tomorrow and the Bush next week, right in, right out. But traffic would stay as is configured through River City Days. Then
Which
it'd
is
be
on the south side.
Yep, on the south side. And then that week following River City Days, the week of the 8th or whatever that is, then we'd be hoping then to make a change where we go to outside lanes open, inside lanes closed. that would allow us to fill in then that dual left turn lane.
That hole that you see out in the middle will be kind of the last pour there.
And then following that, then we would then close the outside lanes, which would allow us to finish up the rest of the project, finish up any remaining street lighting. We've got a little bit of maintenance work to do from the south side. There's some cracking and things that allow us to reaccess that, and then that would pretty much, hopefully, that outside lane closure then would be the final traffic control. And then once all the work is completed on the outside, we'd pull that up and you'd have the road back full open. So that's the intent here. So just understand there's going to be some flipping, but we're 2 weeks out from that yet.
Yeah. And likely when we're looking at that, we haven't talked specifically, but when we're making these switches of where the traffic is, that's the time that Ryan will mobilize the striping crew that comes in and puts the tape. You know, we got stalls downtown we have to mark out, so when we move traffic, close the parking lanes, we'll probably be grinding those and taping those down, maybe while the light poles are going up or something like that. So.
Yeah.
So there's those details as well, the striping and the signage, the permanent signage. And then something else you may have noticed, we are painting all of the light poles. I think they look really nice. The light poles will all be black through downtown, matching our light fixtures, our lighting. So and they kind of blend in, and they really look nice with the black accents, like at the Indigo building and stuff, to have that light pole black right there. So.
The signal pole, I mean. But
The signal pole, yep.
Just so everyone's clear, yep. So the signal poles, yep. Bush, broad bush and plum will all be black, so.
Yep, you should not see any yellow and green left on those, so, when we're all done.
Yep.
And one last thing I wanted to mention, if people are wondering, there was we had an issue with a storm sewer that down at corner of Pine Street, where it tied into, it's an old tunnel that gave way. The tunnel top blew off. It's right where we connected with our project last year, and we're going to do some work to fix that up. So there's going to be an apron coming out there going into the Jules Cleaners right there on Pine. So, and it's going to be boulevard work, but we're looking to work with Meyer to get that fixed up. So it's an old tunnel that runs all the way up Pine. It takes drainage from all the way up on top of the hill by Seminary Plaza. So that was with the big rain on Saturday that we had that. So if any questions, or you get a business asking what's going on, why are they redoing my apron again? That's what we have to do, and we'll talk to them as well. So that's just we're looking at that this afternoon, figure out a plan there. So. That is all I had. You guys have anything else to add? I think we hit both projects pretty good.
Yep.
How about any further questions?
Just curious on the taping. So right in front of Broad, that taping is almost all come off. Have you noticed that? Okay, and then the crossover to like the Pollinator Park.
Yep.
I don't know if it's related to the semi-turns that are happening right there. But that taping on the streets is really, it's almost gone.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay.
I'm curious. Yeah, that's something we can definitely address with this. I wanted to talk to Corey about maybe those are areas that we have to. Maybe the tape isn't the answer. We're just going to have to do an epoxy paint. I'm not positive. They are ground in, but there's that movement there is so heavy, and it's been a busy year, and it's something that. Definitely needs to be done. Not only the crosswalk taping, but the cat track that kind of delineates the double lefts has some issues. Yeah.
Yep.
Now the yellow one that goes across is a temporary thing. That's there just for this traffic configuration. That'll go away anyway. But the white cat tracks for the double lefts and the big crosswalk hatching needs to be addressed. So.
And then I just wanted to mention, River City Days officially starts Friday. But there is a concert in Central Park on Thursday night as well as Wednesday night.
Okay.
So it's kind of back-to-backs. So the Thursday night concert will be a big one, I suspect.
Okay.
So just traffic-wise, and if you were going to make any changes, just be aware of those two things.
Okay. Sounds good.
Who is it?
Tennessee Stiffs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's Wednesday night?
That's Thursday
Okay.
night, and then Wednesday night is it Generation? I can't think of the schedule off the top of my head.
And Wednesday night's the normal,
The normal concert in the
Wednesday
park.
concert in the park.
Right, but Thursday's an addition.
Okay. Good. So I guess we're still on schedule for, Patty, we're still on schedule for the opening at 11:30 at Levy Park.
Yes.
Kind of the grand opening of, not completely finished, but very close. And, okay.
So right on your cruise,
Yep.
to that, 11:30 at Levy Park will start.
Okay.
And that's on Friday, August 5th.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks for coming.
Thank you.